All right. Hello. I'm Ayisha Jaffer, weekday host on The Current, and I'm here with Dehd. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hello.
What's up?
Oh, my goodness. It's so exciting. You guys have been on tour quite a lot, as we were just talking about before. You just finished your UK and European tour, and now this is the first date for this run of the North American tour. How has it felt so far?
Honestly, so good.
Yeah. We both went for a run separately today.
We're keeping it healthy on.
That
This is
felt
our healthy
life-changing
leg.
to me.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's amazing. That's like you guys are fresh and ready to go, and this is the perfect town to start it off with.
Yeah.
The music fans are ready for it. And I mean, yeah, I'm new to Minneapolis, so I've seen they're hungry for music, and I know you guys are going to bring that energy. Well, before all these tours, though, I have to ask about, because I love this so much. You guys rented a truck and you went to parking lots around Chicago and played some shows. What ignited that idea, and how were those shows?
Well, partly it was just because it was like the pandemic and like everything was closed, and I think the idea of a generator show has always been something we're interested in. And then I was like, oh, we could just put in a truck and then make it like a caravan kind of thing where we just like drop locations and show up. So then we did that, and it was really crazy. And that was the first time we had played since our last record had come out. So we I don't know, didn't know if anyone would come. And then when we opened the door, there was like all these people there. And we're like, oh, Chicago's here. Like, it was really affirming, I think, and exciting. And we actually just did it in England also.
Oh, wow. Oh, my
Also
goodness.
affirming and exciting. Because we were like, we don't know what the English even know what a generator show is. Like where we were. I'm sure they do, but it was like posh festival, you know.
That feeling, though, the reveal of like lifting up.
Yeah, I'd be
that's
like, oh,
awesome.
It's a surprise for both of us, you know,
Yeah,
like
it was
for the
sick.
audience and the band.
Yeah, it's a very yeah, and it was like, are the cops gonna come? I was like, I guess we can just drive away. Like we were like thinking about all this stuff, and like I was like,
It was kind of
COVID.
like
We were like, it's
rules
probably
era.
flike, yeah.
Anyways, like the
Like
cops drove by
just
one
drove
time.
by
They were like,
and
hello.
like gave a thumbs up. We were like, this is so weird. Like, where are we?
They're like
One
contingency
time it was
plan.
raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And everyone was just like jumping, and like we were jumping, and the truck was moving around. It was just like, this is epic. This is an epic way to exit this terrible era of like sitting inside
Yeah.
and being randomly sad.
Yeah. Well, mobile show, too. That's like the perfect way to go. Because
Yeah.
you get to kind of choose your own adventure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a new album out. It's called Blue Skies. And when I think of Blue Skies, for me, thematically, I think of this phrase where people talk about how, oh, the sky looks gray. It's because there's clouds in the sky, but really the sky is blue. The clouds are just rolling through. And that's what I think of when I think of Blue Skies. But what is your hopeful takeaway from the album?
I mean, I think you
I
kind
mean,
of nailed
that-
it
yeah,
with
you
like
nailed it.
hopeful. It's like it's kind of just like optimism on the horizon. Like that's how I kind of look at the blue sky as like just a little bit ahead.
Yeah. It's sort of like this too shall pass applies to bad things and good things. To use blanket statements that aren't real, but you know, like it's like this too shall pass. And there, you know, another blue sky is coming, and there is always actually a blue sky somewhere. But yeah, because it just was a dark time, you know. It was like, whether it's dark time pandemic, dark time like the riots and the protesting, dark time like just basic Chicago
Internally.
winter. Like like I mean
In our
here it's the same
souls.
thing. Minnesota, it's like dark, gray, snowy winter. And then there's that day where the blue sky hits and you're like, oh my God, it's about to be summer. And everybody knows that feeling in the Midwest, like, and then everyone goes outside at once in this like mass mosh. And it's like that feeling of like, we just survived and now we're going to party.
And you're there waiting with the truck, so.
And we're there waiting with the truck. Exactly.
I love that. Well, you had, your prior album, Flowers of Devotion. That was a breakthrough. It like got you some resources. You ended up signing to Fat Possum Records. And what I really love is for this new album, instead of just like going to like the big studio or being like, what's up, Max Martin or whatever, you guys decided to invest inwards and in your own process. And I'm just curious of why you decided that. And then like, has anything been a little bit different about this process of making this new record?
I think like at the core we're like still like a DIY band, and like we've been to Minneapolis so many times and played so many basements here, like, and that's just like forever in our blood. And I think it was like also a vote of confidence in ourselves of just being like, the reason why this is like coming is because of the thing that we're like already doing. So like why change it and bring in this like person that we're like objectively are supposed to, I guess, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So it was kind of just like, yeah, like doubling down and like trying to do the thing that we do and just keep getting better at it.
Yeah, we just like and like allowed ourselves more time to do what we do well, and just almost like do everything just as an experiment. Like, well, what is this like? You know, because you don't really need much to do anything creatively, I think.
Yeah.
And our band has like kind of our fingerprints over all like aspects of it, and I think that is like kind of something that gives it shape, and also maybe like the messy finger paint vibe that we sometimes can acquire.
But like next record, we're thinking not to like already go to the next Blue Sky Future.
Please
but
do it.
it's like we're excited to like maybe invite a producer, but like a friend who we like feel really close with, who gets the scrappy vibe, but also has like a bit of shine we might not have thought about, obviously. So it's just like we're very careful with how we expand.
Yeah, keep
like,
it in the family.
We just keep it kind of grounded. Can't
like
explode
that.
too fast.
No diss to you, Max, but like I'm into this.
Like, you know, people like are always making stuff, and like, why should like the old, like, not that these people are old, but like, why should like the old heads be like the only ones like making cool records, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. And I
Yeah,
think
there's
that's
new
why.
heads coming up.
There's new heads and there's people powered, right? So you kind of get to decide. And people are deciding what they love. And I
Totally.
think that's an awesome turn.
We don't like to follow too much.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad because I'm loving the music. And in fact, we're playing Bad Love, and it's our song of the day today, which is awesome. And I love that song because it's so relatable. Everybody can relate to Bad Love. You know, you're kind of trying to own your faults, but also trying to run away from, you know, the bad love. Look for self-love, look for better love, right?
Hell
We're chasing
yeah.
that. So I was curious if that kind of lesson in that song came to you like during the time of like forced reflection, or what kind of lit Bad Love?
Yeah, I guess not really in the forced reflection. I'm always forcing reflection upon myself.
Good.
But I'm the exception to the rule, to quote the movie we watched last night. He's just not that into you with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Did you see that
I
movie?
guess it kind of applies to the song too.
It kind of applies to the song, honestly. I was like, oh, this movie's about bad love. It's like, kind of.
It's a roller coaster of
It's a roller
emotions.
coaster movie. We were only going to watch 1 hour, and we ended up watching all 2 hours. And anyways, so watch that movie, and then you'll understand bad love. No, I'm kidding. I just, one year was like, what am I doing dating crumbs? And also, like, you know, reflecting on how I've been a crumb as well. So it's not just like finger pointing. It's like, what can we do about this? And then I just spent a lot of time alone and becoming my own best friend and my own partner and my own, like, you know, my own dog. And then from that place, I was like, now how can I be in relation with people, whether it's friends, bandmates, romantic partners? And that's what I'm referencing about the new love. But for me, it definitely starts with like, and it's like, you know, a lot of these words are thrown around like self-love, but it's like, that's real shit. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, sorry. Are you allowed to cuss on the Minnesota radio? Probably
I mean,
not.
it's got the best beep ever, so I kind of love it. So
Any hoozle.
don't worry, it's not live.
It's cool. And I wanted to talk about it because everyone can relate to it.
Yeah.
And it's a simple song, simple words, but the meaning can go deep state.
Yeah. Well, then Stars kind of feeds into it, right? Because Stars is like talking about the support and what you do to kind of get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, like, I guess, like the same, like, kind of getting right with yourself so you can, like, handle the world, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I like the, you know, talking about taking a walk and kind of like being able to do something for yourself for reflection and to get there. Is there a specific walk that you like to take?
I was always walking through, like, Chicago's got really good alleys, so I was always, like, walking through the alleys. Like, I like it's, like, nice to get in motion, and then your, like, mind starts working, like, riding my bike's the same way. Like, you're, like, in this, like, repetitive physical act, but it's, like, doesn't require anything of you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just
Except
stomp
to
around some
start.
alleys and kick some garbage cans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some raccoons roll out. Like that's the jam.
Like raccoon-sized rats.
Oh my gosh.
That's the real.
I believe that. I remember being on the phone and like this football-sized rat like knocked me over. My friend was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Just a rat."
Oh my gosh. One time I seen a rat dancing like in a rainstorm in a puddle.
With another rat.
And so then I was like, I kind of like you guys
That's
now.
kinda
It was like
awesome.
really joyful.
But he told me that story, and I was like, Jason sees that, and he's like, they're dancing. I'm like, they were probably like fighting to the death. Like,
That sounds like a single
or
piece
they were
of
like
art.
poisoned and like seizuring upright. Like I think of it so darkly, and Jason's like, they're dancing. I'm like,
Well, they
it's
had
so
tap
sick.
shoes on.
No, I'm inspired by your point of view, and I'm trying to adopt that dancing rat point of view.
I love that. Well, I want to talk about Window as well, because I feel like that's a song, right, that you guys have had many years on. So it's like your history song in a way, because you have all these different timelines that have come into the song. But the song is almost like the anthem of hope. And I'm just curious, in the album, to me at least.
No, you're right.
And I'm just curious, what are you hopeful for in that song and for the future? It's a big question.
Yeah. Wow. So many images flashed in my mind. Just sort of like letting go of, I mean, I'm going to sound like a horoscope app right now, but like letting go of things that don't serve me.
Yeah.
Letting go of things that don't serve me and don't serve the world. It's like I want to be of service to the world and my community in whatever way that looks for me. And like, again, I can't do that unless I'm in the right shape and like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, so to speak. And yeah, Window was sort of like, all right, I'm tired of these things. Let them go. Ripping myself out of past patterns, scenarios, people, and then placing myself in this like hopefully new, which doesn't, when like people like leave people, it's like you don't have to like leave them or cut them off. It's just like your relationship with them can change, or your perspective on how you treat the relationship can change the relationship without having to like, yeah. So I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, it is definitely a big song. That's a big emo song. And it definitely tied, I think, also an era of Dehd stuff together, and now there's like a new era coming, even though most people probably won't be able to pick up on that. For me personally, it is.
Yeah. You can show them that way. Do you have an answer to that as well, Jason?
I'm mostly just looking forward to like cultivating happiness.
It's perfect.
Dancing rats.
I almost want you to start telling horoscopes like for Dehd, which maybe could be part of this next
Damn,
question.
money
Producer
idea.
credit.
Like, yeah, producer credit is all I want.
Yeah, finder's fee for that idea.
Well, hotline. So you've got this hotline because that actually that could feed into it in some way. But
Yeah.
Oh my god,
We
you're
can
a
make one
manager
every
now.
day.
I can't take Amy's spot.
No, Amy is a god.
But the hotline I love. Like, I know you guys have had that for a few years, but the recent ask is about bad love. And I've listened to some of those stories that are fantastic, but I'm curious, what are some of your favorites that have come in?
Well, I have one about the fish.
What's that one?
Okay, I actually haven't listened to it in like 8 months, but there's a lot of voicemails on there, and they come to this certain email. But there's one about fish, like this girl and guy like were dating, and long story short, they broke up, and the guy had some mental health situation, and one of the things he chose to do was put fish into her favorite pillow, like dead fish, and then sew it like they were fresh when he put them in there, and then sewed it back, so they were like in there in a way that she wouldn't know. And she, in the voicemail, she just kept talking about how it was her favorite pillow, and she was always cuddling with it, and like, I don't know, it was like her life. And then the fish started rotting. I was just like, what an intense breakup thing to do. But then he like didn't remember doing it. And then when she called him out on it, he was like, oh yeah, the fish were missing one day, and I was wondering where they went. It was like this like creepy. I was just like, that's also maybe why I stopped listening, because some of them were like too intense for me. I was like, I can't listen to any more of these.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I don't think I could talk about the one that I thought was really funny on the radio.
Oh, well.
Is it embarrassing?
No, I think it was like they had a really nice date and then she like peed on him.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a
that's fine.
TikTok about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he woke up in the middle of the night and they were.
But that's like an
Yeah.
alcoholic thing. Like when I used to drink a lot, I would do stuff like that.
I thought it was like a golden shower thing.
No, I
That's
made
kind of
it.
what I thought too.
I
Yeah.
made it like the golden shower. I mean, it could be interpreted in many ways.
Yeah.
There's no shame in like, when you're drunk and you piss in your sleep, it's like, okay, you probably should stop drinking.
I would pull that back a little bit.
I definitely caught
And
some
I'm speaking from
sleepwalker
experience.
streams
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
day.
But then,
Yeah.
if it's a piss play situation, then that guy needs to.
You got to have a
Chill
conversation.
out, yeah.
You gotta get consent before you fall asleep.
Yeah,
and then do that.
Yeah, maybe that's private.
Well, so since you've had this hotline for a while, like, what's next for it, you think? Missed connections at dead shows, horoscopes, or like,
Horoscopes could be
know.
cool. Maybe we could start our own food delivery service. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll retire it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take submissions for the new album.
oh my goodness.
Album title?
They could just write songs for us and send it to us.
Lol.
No rights. Send in songs.
Well, is that like a
We would
Silver
get
Jews record
canceled.
that was like all recorded on people's voicemails?
People will get mad.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Something
oh, my
like that.
goodness. Well, I have a few more questions, kind of some fun questions before I let you guys go. Now, I know you have been opening up about the Dead process and production and talking about tips and tricks and tones. And so I'm curious if there's one of your favorite tips, tricks, or tones that you want to share about the Dead writing process.
I mean, this is not even, I guess, specific to Dead, but like you just have to like get it right before, like get it right when you're doing it. Like nothing can be fixed really to like satisfaction.
Yeah.
So just like play it with some heart and play it right.
Just be perfect, okay?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect,
No,
but
I'm
just
kidding,
like,
I'm
You have to reach for perfection knowing you're never going to get it.
you can't settle like with like if you're like, oh, we'll just fix it later. Like don't have
Right.
that attitude. Be
Yeah.
like, I'm like I can listen to this. Actually, I heard a really good quote from Aldous Harding where she was like, any little thing, like if it sticks out to her twice, then it like is removed.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good one. Like if it catches your ear twice and then you're like, oh, like that's kind of might bother me.
Yeah, don't be
It's
lazy.
gonna bother you for the rest of your life, and it's like permanent. So I might as well do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like we recently just did a cover and we did it horribly. And instead of redoing it, we were like, it's fine.
Well, I was also. Well, I think I don't know if it's.
We
that
were in
I
bad
haven't listened
shape.
to it.
No, it's bad.
I was throwing up
embarrassed
and
by it,
laying
but
on
I'm
the
like-
ground, and then I just stood up to play the song, and then I had to lay back down.
In my mind, I'm like, this is a lesson, what you just described. Like, we should have been like, let's do it one more time just in case. And we didn't. And I'm like, never going to do that again.
You got to make the mistake,
But it's like,
though.
yeah, it's fine to make the mistake. And I love making mistakes loudly and in public because then you have nothing to lose or hide. You're like free. So I think
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Emily, I know on top of being a musician, you're also a tattoo artist.
Yep.
And so
sometimes.
I'm curious if you have seen any Dead tattoos yet.
Yeah. Some people will send us like they got the horse when we did the little horse one. I think somebody's gotten the masks.
I've never seen one.
I feel like I saw it recently.
Look, show us your Dead tattoos.
In the blur of life.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone send the Dead tattoos to Jason on Instagram because I retired from social media.
I think that's fair.
I know I'm perfect.
Well, is there anything else you guys would like our listeners to know before I let you go?
Come to the show.
See it hard
This is
times
a-
afterwards.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Or modern times.
Yeah, one of
Nice.
the times.
Hard times at night, modern times in the morning.
Perfect.
For those who know, you know.
Well, thank you guys so much for being with us here at the Current. Again, Dead here at the Current studio. Blue Skies is out now, and enjoy the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.